Okay, this is 5.2 circle notes. First of all, I want to start off with the definition. A circle is a set of all points which are equidistant from a fixed point. Okay, so if we have our standard equation, this is the equation we're going to be working with the whole time. We have in parentheses x minus h, that's the quantity squared, plus the quantity of y minus k squared, and that is equal to r squared. So back to the definition when it says the set of all points which are equidistant from a fixed point is going to be your center, and your center is the ordered pair HK. And equidistant, this is your radius. And that is R in your equation. Okay, so when it says find the center and radius of each of the following circles. So this equation looks a little bit different, but it is already written in your standard equation or in your standard form. So this doesn't have a parentheses. So this is just like saying x plus or minus 0 if you want to think of it. So I'm going to take my h and my k out of this. So here's my h and here's my k. And if you notice, you're in your standard equation, you have a minus in both of them. And I like to think of if you have a parentheses, you're always going to take the opposite. You can't take the opposite of 0. So my center is at 0. I'm going to take the opposite of 5. So my center is at 0, negative 5. And my radius, because my equation is r squared, I'm going to take the square root of 100, and my radius is 10. Okay, on number 2, this is not written in your standard form, so I'm going to have to complete the square first. I'm going to go ahead and put my x's together. Now the main thing here is that you can have no coefficient on your x squared. And this one's a little bit easier because I don't have one to begin with. So I'm going to take x squared and take my 8x and put together. These I'm going to put in parentheses, and I'm going to leave a blank for my third part of it. Do the same thing with my y's. And again, no coefficient for y squared. So in parentheses, I've got y squared minus 6y. Leave a blank for my third part of it. Now, what's different about this completing the square is I'm going to move anything extra to the right side, and I'm going to leave a blank for whatever I add for x and a blank for whatever I add for y. Now, why I'm adding this to the right side is this is going to be my radius squared. Okay, now take your middle term right here, and this is what I'm going to half box square. If you take 8, half box square it, this is going to give you the 4. I'm sorry, this gives you 4, you square it, this gives you 16. Now, what's different about this, since I added it to, or I moved this 15 to the other side, whoops, this is going to be negative 15. Since I added 16 to the left, I'm going to add 16 to the right. Remember, I don't want to change my problem, and if I add it to one side, I can add it to the other. Okay, take my middle term here again, take negative 6, half box square it, and that's going to give you a positive 9. Because I add positive 9 to one side, I'm going to add positive 9 to the other. Okay, now to write it in the standard equation format, I'm going to take my x, this is my quantity squared, so whatever is inside your box is going to be plus 4. This is quantity squared. My y is going to be y. Since this is a minus sign, this is going to be minus 3 quantity squared. And this all together is going to be my r. This is r squared, so this is 10. This is your standard equation. So now from here, I'm going to take my center. Remember, take the opposite. So this would be negative 4, comma 3. And my radius, I just need a radius by itself, so this is square root 10. Okay, remember I said that your x squares and your y squares could not have a coefficient. So on this one, I'm going to go ahead and factor out a 2 when I'm doing this x squared, so I'm going to take out a 2, that gives me x squared. Take out a 2 from this gives me a negative 6. I'm still leaving a blank. Now if I look at my y's, looks like I can take out a 2 from this one as well. That leaves me with a y squared, which is what I want, and take out a 2 from the 8, which gives me a 4. Leave a blank. Then I'm going to go ahead and move my 24 over so that that can be my radius. So that's a 24. I'll leave a blank for my x and a blank for my y. Now I bring down my middle term and I half box square it. That's going to give me negative 3 squared, which gives me a 9. I really did not add 9. I really have an 18 on this side. So if I have 18 on this side, I have to add 18 on this side. Okay, bring your middle term down. This is negative 4. Half box square it. This is going to be 4. I really have 8. So if I have 8 over here, I'm going to add 8 over here. I have 2. Keep that 2 on the outside. And so I have x minus 3 quantity squared and a plus 2 y. This is minus 2 quantity squared. And then my radius squared over here, it looks like it's 50. Now on a circle, if you notice, there's not any coefficients. So let's get rid of them. So let's just divide everything by 2. So x minus 3 quantity squared plus y minus 2 quantity squared equals 25. This is your equation right here for a circle. So now we can write our center. Remember, in parentheses is opposite, so this should be 3, 2, with a radius. Take the square root of that, which gives you 5. Now, I waited till the end to divide by 2. If you wanted to, you could have divided by 2 at the very beginning. If you notice, everything up here is divisible by 2. So you can do it at the very beginning. Okay, on this one, it says find the equation of the circle that has a diameter with endpoints at 1, 4 and negative 3, 2. Okay, so just a little sketch of this one, just to kind of give you an idea what it looks like. So we have 1, 4 here. So here is our diameter. And this is about to look really bad. Hey, that didn't look really bad. Okay, here's my circle. I can figure out that my center is somewhere around here. But I need to know for sure because I have to write my equation. So here's some formulas that you have used before that might be helpful again. How about let's do midpoint formula. So for those of you who don't remember, you might want to remember these again. So I'm going to take these numbers. I'm going to add my x's. So this is x plus x divided by 2. And y plus y divided by 2. So we can find the midpoint. This would be my center. So if I add these, this should be what? Negative 1 and 3. Now I need my radius squared. So if I know this distance right here, and there's no guessing. Another formula that might be helpful is your distance formula. Like I'm going to go ahead and say my x values, the same as I did before. I'm going to say 1 minus the negative 3 quantity squared. And then I'm going to do my y's 4 minus 2. So I'm working left to right. That's going to give me a 4 plus 1. Still have a square root. This gives me a distance of square root of 5. Now remember, this is only a distance right here. So this is really my radius. You've got to be careful with that. So now I'm ready to write my answer. So this is going to be x plus 1 quantity squared plus a y minus 3 quantity squared, and that is equal to 5. Okay, One more problem for you. It says find the equation of a circle with a center at -5, 1 and is tangent to the x-axis. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you knew what this was, tangent. And so I'm going to do a little sketch again. So let's say -5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and -1. So this is my center, and this is all we know. Remember, tangent means that it touches, or the x-axis touches the circle at one point. That means that my circle is going to look kind of like this. My circle at one point, and that's right there. So we know that my radius is that right there, which is 1. So I can write my equation. I know my center, and I know my radius. So that means that it's x plus 5, quantity squared, plus y plus 1, quantity squared is equal to 1. And that's my answer.